Hello there, how are we? One of the great stories in the Bible is the story of Ruth. A man called Elkanah and his wife Naomi had two sons. They lived in Bethlehem. And there's a famine in Bethlehem, so they decided to go to a country called Moab because there was food there. So they moved out from Bethlehem, Naomi, husband and two sons, and they go to live in Moab. In Moab, the two sons married two Moabite girls, Ruth and Orpah. Then tragedy strikes. The husband dies, and the two sons die, and she's left a widow with two daughters-in-law. So she decides to go back to Bethlehem because she's heard that there's a harvest in Bethlehem. And so she sets off back with her two daughters-in-law and tries to persuade them not to go back with her. She can't have any more children. Go back home, she tells them, and enjoy your life and be a mother and so on. And Orpah decides to go back to Moab, but Ruth says, I will not leave you. Where you go, I will go. Your God will be my God, and other things as well. She makes wonderful promises to Naomi, but the significant one is your God will be my God. And so they come back to Bethlehem. And Ruth's a worker. She wants to provide for Naomi. And so they go back to the old place they used to own, and they're living there. And they're struggling. They need someone to come along and help them. A redeemer, a kinsman redeemer they call him, a close relative who can help. And so Ruth goes out to glean in the field. She's going to pick up the pieces the harvesters have left behind as they've harvested the food, the barley. And she works hard all day. She's noticed by a man called Boaz, who owns the field, and he takes care of her and looks after her. And when she goes back home, she takes with her the food that she's got, and she provides for Naomi, a lovely, lovely lady, Ruth. And Naomi asks her a simple question: where did you glean today? Where did you work? Ruth had no idea about the significance of the field where she was been working. And when Ruth tells Naomi the field belonged to Boaz, Naomi's thrilled to bits. Ruth has, luckily, by chance, got into a field of a man who is a close relative and is able to help them. Ruth didn't know about it, but God had led her to the right field at the right time to meet the right person. The story goes on, and she marries Boaz, and she becomes the ancestor of King David, the great king of Israel. But the question today is, where have you gleaned? Where have you worked today? Is it just by chance that we are where we are? Is it just luck? Is it just fortune? Is it just fate that we are where we are? We look back over a day and we think of the people that we've met. Was it just chance? Was it just luck? The way things worked out? Ruth had no idea she was in the right place to be blessed. You know, God doesn't work by chance. A person that goes to work in a factory can be in the right place for God. A child that goes to school, in a classroom or whatever, can be in the right place for God. I can be in the right place for God where I am, where I live, what I'm doing. And you can be in the right place for God to bless you. We might not realize it, but God has put us in the right place at the right time for the right reason. That's the way God works. We may not like where we are. We may not be very favourably disposed to those that we work with. But God has put us there. We didn't plan it. We just did what we thought was right. And God led us to where He wants us to be. I think we know when we are not where God wants us to be. There's a niggling feeling in our pit of our stomach, or there's a thought in our head. But we just want to be where God wants us to be, and God will move us to where He wants us to be. It might be a massive change. It might be a small change. It might be a change of direction in careers. It could be anything. Where have you worked today? That's the question that Naomi asked Ruth. And she gave the answer in the field of Boaz. And Naomi says, wow, that's amazing. He's the one person that can help us if he wants to. And so Boaz does in the future. You know, every day is a day that God can use us if we're prepared to be where he wants us to be. So let's not resent our circumstances when things seem to be going wrong, when the going's tough, when things are hard and difficult. If that's where God wants us to be, then we should be where God wants us to be and thank him for it. But God might move us on to the next field. And if that's what happens, then we should go with him there as well. So the simple question, where have you gleaned today? Where have you worked? Was it a place of blessing? Was it a place where you knew God's presence? Was it a place where you were able to serve him and just be the person you were called to be? Ruth had no idea, but she was in the place of blessing. We can be in the place of blessing when we simply obey our God and he moves us to where he wants us to be, or he makes us stay where he wants us to be. God does not make mistakes. Be blessed.